Hey guys, Brian at Ride with Two Indians. Welcome to our 5th installment of our upgrade series for Barbara's Indian Scout Bobber, where we'll be doing a next level upgrade of her front turn signals and rear brake lights as well. You may want to check out the other videos we've already posted in this series for tips and tricks on your bobber, including all manner of accessories like brake and clutch levers, floorboards, new paint, and a remote tune from DynoJet. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the remaining episodes as well. Hey, if you're new to our channel, don't forget that aside from our product reviews and how-to videos, we have a bunch of ride and travel content that will get you excited about getting out on the road. So let's get to it. Today I'm going to show you how to put on these cool little LED lights to replace the big bulky factory lights. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a comparison side by side of how they look. And this video is sponsored by Joker Machine, maker of fine quality custom products for your Indian Scout and Harley Davidson and other brands. In this video we're going to be featuring the single rat eye turn signals, the Astro turn signals, and the 41mm fork tube signal bracket. Let's get started. Alright, so let's start with the amber turn signals, which we have up front here. You can see that they're just held on by this one bolt here. It looks like a 10mm. And then we've got a wire that comes out and it attaches up underneath here. Now we're going to be replacing them with this bullet style light from Joker Machine. And that has a bracket that is going to go around the fork. And then we've also got a bolt. We got a package of two, one for each side. That's going to allow us to clamp these on here. But because this fixture has a light that doesn't have a connector plug like this one that you see up under here, I want to maintain that plug. I don't want to just put a butt splice connector on there, because eventually someday you're going to want to take those off. So I'm going to use this existing connector, which means we're going to take this wire and we're going to solder it to this. So let's just go ahead and pull this out and pull it off. And it looks like all I got to do is just push down on that and pull. Alright, so let's pull the fixture off, and we do indeed have a 10mm here, and I'm just going to put a 10mm open end on this side. It's kind of interesting how this is a rubber mount. And if all goes as expected, this should just come off here. Boom, that's simple. Now I'm kind of worried. I don't know if that's going to fit through there. So we may have to pull this nacelle off here because we've only got a small gap here, and I'm not sure this is going to fit through there. And it does not look like it will. It's up in here. It's labeled correct. Okay, so we're going to have to do a little bit of surgery on each one of these lights to make them a little bit better. But you see there's a set screw at the front side of the light, and there's a tiny hole in the back of the light. And so all we want to do is remove the mounting screw from the base of the light fixture, pull it off, and then we're going to take a tiny Allen head. Don't ask me what size it is, I don't know. And we're just basically going to loosen up this set screw so we can remove the LED light from the fixture. And once you get that out, don't pull on it too hard, just kind of push it through with using the wire, and it'll come out. And then next you're going to strip the end of the wire to make it smaller, and you just kind of need to fish it through, which isn't too difficult, but I have to admit I did have to do this a few times. And work it so it comes out of that little hole in the back, and then you can just pull it through, and this will make for a neater installation. And this was a tip given to me by the guys at Joker Machine before I put it on. Okay, so we're going to be soldering these wires together, and when I do that I like to use heat shrink. So we're going to use a 3/16 over the outer jacket And we're going to use an 1/8 inch heat shrink on the individual conductors. So slide the larger one over the outer jacket, and then you're going to cut 2 smaller ones for each of the individual wires, and then strip the wires accordingly. And I like to stagger them, as you can see on the brown and the blue down below there, so you don't have a chance of them touching. So how you twist the wires together is up to you entirely, but I like to make it as low profile as you can, so when you go to slide the heat shrink over it later, it goes over quickly and easily. So I'm using an old butane soldering gun that I've had forever and doesn't make the cleanest solders, and of course I'm not very good at it anyway, but it doesn't have a fine point. So hopefully you'll have a better soldering gun, but slide the heat shrink over it quickly, because if you don't, it'll start to contract quickly. And then I used a butane powered torch to melt the wires. Let them cool down before you try to slide over the next one, because that will also shrink from the heat, and then just hit it again. And there you go. That's pretty much all you got to do. Let's get it on the bike. Alright, so in the end we don't really need to remove the entire nacelle to get the clamp around the fork, but we did need to just loosen it up on both sides, because obviously I have to get both of them on, but in order to even get one on, I had to loosen it from both sides. Alright, and after repeating the steps on both sides, we've got a finished product here, which I think looks pretty darn cool. We'll look at some other shots later, but let's get started on the back. Alright, well, we got a nice little rainstorm to accompany us while we replace the rear lights with the new lower profile lights from Joker Machine to match the fronts. Alright, so you got to remove the fender bracket here, and be aware that a lot of times Indian has used red or blue Loctite, and sometimes even red on there, so use a Torx 40. It's the correct size to pull those off. You may strip them out if you don't try that. Just disconnect the lights and remove the fender. And then once you get the fender bracket off, then you can remove the light fixtures, pull the wire out through the hole in the fixture, and then strip the wire back, and you'll expose 3 separate conductors in there, a red, white, and a brown. Now I stripped these down to put a meter on them once I plugged it back into the bike, so I could make sure that I had voltage on the correct wires. So just simply plugging it back in, testing it, and then of course you always want to confirm it by actually using the lights and the turn signals. And so you see we've got red to red and white to black. Now for these fixtures, make sure you order the turn signals, and then you've also got to get the little interface piece that goes in between the rear fender bracket and the light fixture. Now that little piece doesn't line up perfectly with one of these keyed holes in the back, so you have to drill it out to allow for the proper placement, but after you do that, it'll slide right into place. Next, just feed the wire from the light through the interface. Make sure you pull it through, and then of course you're going to now feed that through the bolt that has the hole through it. Pull that into place, and then you can bolt up the light. And then just secure the light fixture in place so it's nice and tight. You're probably going to have to adjust it after you get on the bike. And then go ahead and solder the wires just like we did before. Use some heat shrink, and this time instead of a torch I used a heat gun that my wife has in her crafting kit. Works just as well, actually it's a little bit easier. And then before you bolt anything back up, it always makes sense to plug in the connector, actually put it on the bike, and hit your turn signals, hit your brakes, make sure everything's working. Piece of cake, right? Now all you got to do is put everything back together, plug the cables all back in. Obviously, you're going to test both sides and make the connections in a similar fashion. But unfortunately, this is where the problem started. Well, let me tell you what's going on here. I took the rear lights off, soldered them all together, put on the heat shrink, but I figured out that this light fixture and this bolt hole that goes right here, look at that. This does not work. So, I got in touch with the people at Joker Machine, and they sent over these very small fixtures. So now I've got to resolder all this stuff. That sucks. So I took the new fixtures and resoldered everything back together after pulling everything apart, put the heat shrink back in place like we had before, and basically got everything prepped. But about this time I figured out that the new bolts for the new light fixtures were actually larger than the previous bolts, so they did not line up. So I had to open up the hole again to make it even a little bit larger, which gave me the opportunity to do some nice slow motion video. Why does it always seem to be raining when I want to shoot video or take some photos of the bobber? I don't get it. The camera just doesn't catch it right. That's it. I'm done. Tired. I can't tell you how many hours I put into this bike. But boy, those bolts look good, don't they? Woo. Look at that. And I tell you what, this changes the whole look of the bike, in my opinion. I know it sounds silly, but to be honest, it really cleans it up. Look at that. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. And we're just going to close out with a couple of examples of how the lights look. This was before dusk. This shot was taken from about 100 yards away with a 100 by 400 millimeter lens. And I just wanted to see how well the light translated across a distance. As you can see, the lights are pretty bright. The lens doesn't really capture how bright they really are, but believe me, the visibility is really good. Otherwise, I wouldn't keep them on the bike. But thanks again for watching, guys. We will catch you in the next video. 2 Indians out!